What's up, guys? I'm back at it again today, bringing you yet another workout. So, open up with squats as usual. And today was a pretty good day overall. I'm not as strong as I was. I'd say I've lost maybe 10 kilos of squat strength, probably somewhere around there. It could be 7.5, but I'm going to say I've lost 10 kilos of squat strength. I've lost somewhere around, I have lost 7.5 kilos of bench press strength. And since I bench pressed last, I actually really haven't lost any strength at all. So my pressing strength has not really moved. If it has, it's moved like 2.5 kilos. So really insignificant number. And my deadlift has gone down by, I'm not sure what my absolute max would be right now, but I venture to say that I've lost at least 10 kilos of deadlift strength. Obviously I deadlifted 132.5 today, but that's just because that's what the program calls for. Every day other than Saturday is a slightly lighter deadlift, around 90% of what I'm supposed to do on Saturday. So my planned deadlift for Saturday is 145, and today I did 132.5 on the deadlift. Here's the bench. As I told you guys, it was slow. Well, I didn't tell you it was slow, but I told you it wasn't that good. At least I hope I didn't. I told you that. Yeah. So I don't really think it was a misgroove or anything. It came up a bit wonky, but I think it's just really a strength issue. And halfway up the rep, I felt like I was going to fail it, and then I'm like, no, don't be a bitch. And that's why I locked it out. So that explains why it kind of stops in the middle, and then just psychologically get over my weakness and get on with the lift, basically. So moving on, this is the deadlift. I'm not completely happy with this. Speed was better than yesterday, but I couldn't keep a flat back as I did yesterday, which is just stupid. It was close to flat, but it's starting to round, and I don't want that to happen on these quote-unquote training deadlifts that I do on all other days except for Saturday. Because if I bend my back with 90%, I sure as hell am going to bend my back like a fucking banana, like a dog taking a shit on Saturdays. So we don't want that. That's just going to, that's not going to be pretty, especially as I gain strength. It's not going to get better. I can tell you that much. Good form doesn't just, fly out of the sky and grace you. It's something you have to work for, and in a lot of cases, you have bad form because certain muscles are weak, other muscles and other muscles decide to compensate. That's why people can have perfect technique with half of their max when they're demonstrating a lift, but when they actually attempt that lift and try to lift something fucking heavy, it looks terrible. That's because when they go for a really heavy lift, their weaknesses are exposed. The weakest link in a chain is the one that breaks. And if you have weak, let's just say chest in a bench press, the bar's barely going to move off your chest. If you have weak triceps in a bench press, it's going to get slower towards the lockout. Now, when it comes to the deadlift, if you have weak hamstrings and oftentimes spinal erectors, you're going to round your back. It's going to happen. And that's exactly what happens to me. Now, the issue is obviously, do I add in extra work for these areas? Or do I just try to maintain form on all other lifts and just really hope for the best? Because I'm already hitting these muscles. Because I have tried both approaches. Both have worked in their own little ways. But the one that really worked for me was absolutely smashing the fuck out of my lower back and hamstrings. The problem, though, is that feels terrible on your body. It's really hard. And, it's hardship, man. It's terrible. It takes so much time out of your day. God. It's the same thing with grip training, man. Once you start really working at it, you might take twice the time to get 10% more training effect, which might be what you need to make progress. Yeah, it's kind of depressing how strength training works sometimes. It's not like a regular job where, let's just say you put in more hours, you're going to make more money linearly. or even if you have a business, if you make certain moves, you can actually make more money with less effort. But in strength training, man, it's just effort all the way, and it takes more and more and more effort to keep making progress. That's what's difficult, and that's what's annoying. But I have two things on my side: youth and weight gain. And actually the fact that I'm not super strong. I'm pretty strong, not crazy strong, and I have a lot of room for improvement and a lot more potential, a lot more to give. You can tell that just simply by, if you take my height versus my weight, and if you just look at where my lifts are and what age I'm at, I have a lot more to give. And when it comes to the weight gain, I'm bulking right now, as of yesterday. And yes, I am behind on the weight. I need to catch up and get to where my plan is and stick there and continue to go up. And I believe that once I can get my diet, which really means my calorie intake, dialed in to where I can smash down food all the time, 24/7, be bloated 24/7. And basically once I manage to really eat in a big surplus, a lot of these problems are going to go away. Like struggling with weights that I've already lifted before, etc., etc. The weight gain is going to be the absolute primary reason, along with hard training. So it's going to be those two things that are going to take me to where I need to go. And it's probably one of those two that will be the kind of limiting factors that stop me from getting to where I wanted to get to if I fail. Luckily though, I'm prepared to do a hell of a lot not to fail, because if there is a national championship in Taekwondo this year, it's in December. December's coming closer and closer. And trust me, the kind of shape that I need to get in to win is pretty insane. And the time frame I have is, it's not much. So I better hurry up, better get working. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.